everybody. It's so great of you to come out on a holiday weekend to have some time to spend together here. AnnMarie and I are so happy to be your worship associates. We're so excited to get to do an alternate church experience in the form of a poetry share fireside. We want to extend a warm welcome to any visitors, first-timers. We are Come As You Are group, and we are excited to get to know you. And if you want to get the information of what's going on with us, you can sign up at the back table there, and we'll keep you abreast of a lot of things. A big thank you to Slip and to Doug and Bill, our sound technicians. Next week, we'll all be meeting around the corner in Kathy's beautiful yard for our annual blessing of the animals, and it's a potluck. So be sure to bring something delicious to share afterwards. And your animal, yeah, if they're portable, bring your pet. Or a picture, you can bring a picture of your pet. Yeah. And deceased pet pictures as well. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, all the rest of our announcements are in your order of service and on our website, of course. It's a new month, so today we are sharing our plate with Landings, which is a youth that are experiencing homelessness organization. They're open 24/7, they do marvelous work. So we will pass the plate around with our closing song so that we can help them out. All right, so let's just dive in. AnnMarie?
Good morning, everyone, and we are happy that you're here, so thank you so much. The information I'm going to share with you right now yes. Thank you. That was good. That's all you need. Just the information I'm going to share with you is from Dr. Google. So these nice lines in here are not from me. So if you say, oh, that sounds good, I didn't write it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about poetry. Poetry is, at its most basic, the deliberate use of artful language to convey essential truths about the world. The purpose of poetry is multifaceted, but generally it aims to express emotions, convey ideas, and create vivid imagery through carefully chosen words and their arrangement. Poetry can be a powerful tool for self-discovery, allowing individuals to explore and understand their own feelings and thoughts. It also serves as a means of connecting with others, sharing experiences, and appreciating the beauty and complexity of the world. Strong, accurate, interesting words, well placed, make the reader feel the writer's emotions and intentions. Choosing the right words for their meaning, their connotations, their sounds, even the look of them makes a poem memorable. The words become guides to the feelings that lie between the lines. The word poetry itself comes from the Greek word poio. I create, I do, I make. Poetry is used to create love, lyrics, anger, hate, magic. It is a method of creation and manifestation, a method of memory and preservation. Poetry is an art form, one that predates literacy. Poetry triggers an emotional response like music. When a person reads or listens to poetry, MRIs have shown that the certain regions in the brain's right hemisphere that are linked to reward and emotion light up from being activated. Poetry boosts memory and encourages self-reflection. MRIs show that poetry causes the part of the brain that activates during daydreaming to light up while reading or listening to poetry. Poetry can be in stories, love notes, speeches, songs, greeting cards. It is virtually everywhere. It helps us understand our emotions in a unique way that we may not be able to easily do otherwise. It helps us feel words in a very deep part of ourselves. Old English literature began as an oral tradition with shops, spelled S-C-O-P-S, but the C is pronounced as an H, with shops or poets reciting epic poetry from memory. Alliteration, repetition, and formulaic language helped preserve these stories, which reflected cultural values such as heroism, loyalty, and fate. The arrival of Christianity brought writing to England. Formulaic language used repetitive phrases and structures that aided memorization and improvisation. Monasteries became centers of literacy. Monks recorded oral traditions. Early forms of poetry began as storytelling, songs, and ritualistic chants used to preserve history, genealogy, and language. Ancient civilizations such as the Sumerians and Greeks developed written forms of poetry, including epic poems such as Gilgamesh and the Iliad and the Odyssey. The oldest surviving English poem is the epic poem Beowulf, originated in Anglo-Saxon England, likely between the 8th and 11th centuries AD. The story is set in 6th century Denmark and Sweden. Beowulf, a Scandinavian warrior, comes to the aid of King Hrothgar of the Danes to fight the monster Grendel. Themes of courage, good versus evil, loyalty, generosity, and the heroic code comprise the work. This epic in the tradition of Germanic heroic legend consists of 3,182 alliterative lines. The epic was probably composed during the first half of the 8th century. The poem is known only from a single manuscript to date, from around 975 to 1025 AD. Beowulf was originally performed and understood through oral tradition, meaning it was sung or recited aloud in Old English. So these shops memorized 3,182 lines, in other words, and kept it going over the years. While the written manuscript dates from around the 11th century, the poem was likely composed and passed through generations by storytellers, shops, who would have sung or chanted it accompanied by a lyre or a medieval harp. So let us move now from the medieval period to the present, to the chalice lighting. I have a poem to read for you from Julia Fehrenbacher, titled "The Most Important Thing." I am making a home inside myself, a shelter of kindness where everything is forgiven, everything allowed, a quiet patch of sunlight to stretch out without hurry, where all that has been banished and buried is welcomed, spoken, listened to, released. A fiercely friendly place I can claim as my very own. I am throwing arms open to the whole of myself, especially the fearful, fault-finding, falling apart, unfinished parts, knowing every seed and weed, every drop of rain has made the soil richer. I will light a candle, pour a hot cup of tea, gather around the warmth of my own blazing fire. I will howl if I want to, knowing this flame can burn through any perceived problem, any prescribed perfectionism, any lying limitation, every heavy thing. I am making a home inside myself where grace blooms in grand and glorious abundance, a shelter of kindness that grows all the truest things. I whisper hallelujah to the friendly sky. Watch now as I burst into blossom. Now, I would like you to hear what I'm going, oh, would you mind lighting the candle? Yeah, that'll work, thank you. As Janen lights the candle, or the chalice, may we all have grace bloom inside us. May we all make shelters of kindness for ourselves and for those around us.
Come, Come, Whoever You Are is a poem written by Rumi that was made into a song, and we all know it. Let's sing it through once together, and then this side will be one side and this the other, and we'll do two, once together, two as a round. What's the page? 188. Page 188, let's start beginning together again. 188 and your great hymnals. We're going back to the olden days when we used to have to use the back. Come, come, whoever you are, on your rush, lover of me, us is the caravan of despair. Come yet again, All right, I can't think of a place I love more than my own bed. And so I love this poem, and if the kids would like to come up and help me share it with y'all, we can act some parts out. Do we have any kids today? Alice, will you help me? Not in the mood? Well, we can all act it out together, but if your dad can help. Okay, you all have to act it out. Here's Alice. Thank you, Alice. Do you want to go up, stand right up there? I'll move out of the way so you can see. Do you want to go up on the stage? You can just pretend to be sleeping. Can you pretend to be sleeping? You can just go like this if you want to, or you can sit on the, yeah, you can lay on the bed. Good job. And stay sleeping until I wake you up, okay? Okay, so it says, this is by Silvia Plath. Most beds are beds for sleeping or resting, but the best beds are much more interesting. Not just a white little tuck-in tight little nighty-night little turn out the light little bed. Instead, a bed for fishing. Can you pass the line? A bed for fishing. You can all do it out in the ice. A bed for cats. Where's your claws? Good. A bed for a troop of acrobats. You have to walk on the tightrope. There's our acrobat. The right sort of bed, if you see what I mean, is a bed that might be a submarine. So you have to look through your periscope and see all the silly fishes. See all the funny fishes out there? Nosing through water, clear and green, silver and glittery, sparkle your hands, as a sardine. Or a jet-propelled bed. So you drive an airplane, you go up high. Is this how you do it, Bill? Push some buttons. Okay, we're way up high in the sky for visiting Mars with mosquito nets. Can you catch a bug with a net? Mosquito nets for shooting stars. Everybody shoot stars in the air. Woo. Ta-da! Now you can go. Andrea's going to help you make binoculars and take you on a scavenger hunt. You guys are going to have so much fun.
I'd like us to do a short meditation, so if you would center yourselves and get comfortable, take a deep breath, hold, exhale, take another deep breath, hold, exhale. You can close your eyes if you wish. A poem by Joy Harjo titled, Remember. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are, red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind, remember her voice. She knows the origin of the universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is, that life is. Remember.
Like so many of you, I love poetry, and for so many reasons. I love how poems can capture one moment in time, like a frame around a picture, and you can see the whole ocean in a dewdrop. Poems can be so simple that they're utterly profound. A poem that speaks to your heart is one of the truest refuges I've ever found. I love poetry because you can time travel and actually feel what the writer felt. Jason Schinder, he's an author that describes this power in poetry when he says, a poem written 3,000 years ago about a man who walks among horses grazing on a hill under the small stars. This poem comes to life on a page of a book, and the woman reading the poem in her modern kitchen finds the experience of that living moment so vividly described as to make her feel known to another, until the woman and the poet share not only their souls, but the exact silence between each word. I love poetry because it connects us to mystery. Pablo Neruda, one of the great poets of the last century, writes about his awakening to poetry. Listen to these words. And it was at that age poetry arrived in search of me. I don't know. I don't know where it came from winter or a river. Suddenly I saw the heavens unfastened and open. I felt myself a pure part of the abyss. I wheeled with the stars. My heart broke loose on the wind. I wheeled with the stars. My heart broke loose on the wind. One book that before that, poetry is not just words. It is actually an experience. Mary Oliver, who we all love, said, don't ask students what a poem means. Ask them what it makes them feel. She also said, I had a very bad childhood, but I got saved by poetry and by the beauty of the world. So one book that's made a big impact on me is this Saved by a Poem. And this book advocates that instead of ruminating or worrying about things that are out of our control, as research shows we do a good 47% of every day, the idea is to write down a poem that speaks to you wherever you're at in life and carry it with you in your pocket. And then you're to read it over and over, here and there, whenever you think about it, until it becomes a part of you. You don't have to try to memorize it. It will seep into your pores and enter your bloodstream and elevate your life. That's how powerful poetry is. It makes sense because our lives are made of the things we think about. So if we spend more time thinking about elevated thoughts, then we will elevate our lives, right? So reading a poem, and especially out loud so you can breathe with it, we're taught, gives the brain something healthy to chew on so that it doesn't have to come up with new problems, which it will do if you leave it alone, or it doesn't have to run on that hamster wheel of worry. You can give it something productive to do in these beautiful words that you find. And I tell you, your heart will be in heaven with this practice. It guaranteed. So the short stanza that I first did that with in my pocket was by Rumi. And it's just this. Sometimes you hear a voice through the door calling you. As a fish out of water hears the waves, or a hunting falcon hears the drums come back. This turning towards what you love saves you. This turning towards what you deeply love saves you. And now it's almost your time to share your poetry with us, but first we're going to sing Spirit of Life, which Carolyn McDade wrote. This was my favorite song when I found UUism. I cried the first times I sang this song, and then I went home and cross-stitched it. But the story behind this song, I love this song. It just was like the Spirit came back into my life at that point, and it was so revolutionary to me. So the beautiful thing, though, is the story behind this song is that she came home from an activist meeting, and she didn't even turn on the light. She just went to her piano, and she played it, and it was whole and complete, as is, it just poured from her pen in that evening. And so I just think it's a beautiful song and a beautiful story. So if you'll all rise, it's on page 123. So get your gray hymnals, open to 123, and we'll sing it together. See if I did it.
Now for the highlight of our service, our sharing circle. One at a time, please come up to the mic, or we will bring the mic to you to share with us, first, why the poem you brought is so important to you. And second, after your explanation, please then read your poem aloud. If you have a lengthy poem, please choose a special segment to read. When you're finished, we ask that you pass the talking piece or the talking stick to the next reader. Is there anyone who would like to start off?
Thank you. I'm Susan Moody, in case you don't know me. Ever since Mrs. McGill, my 9th grade teacher, taught us about Gilgamesh and Beowulf, and very seriously had us memorize 100 lines of Shakespeare, and that was really tough. I have been chasing poems, and they have had an enormous impact in my life. When I was discussing this with AnnMarie, when things are tough, you've got to, like now, you search, you look for the right poem that will somehow make a difference. This particular poem is called Kindness, and it's by Naomi Sahib Nye. And when I first read it was during a time that my husband had passed away, and I was searching, chasing a poem for sure, and I read it, and it cracked me open. And I saw my suffering, I saw my grief, and I was able to look at it in a different way. I hope you appreciate it as much as I do. Kindness. Whoops. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be. between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. This is a little long, sorry. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside you, you must know sorrow as the deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the threads of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sue Matthews. I had a really wonderful Mary Oliver poem picked out, and then I went, no. It was the one we all know about, being in the trees. Love that one. But then for those of us that have been around here long enough, Dana taught us, our minister, for those of you who don't know, taught us about, and I may say it wrong, kintsugu, and that is when something is shattered, the filling of that space with gold, making it much more precious. And a friend of mine posted this last night, and it's called Kintsugu of the Heart. And personally, my heart is broken, and I think many of your hearts are broken as well for various reasons. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one, maybe it's the impending loss of democracy, maybe it's a loss. There's a lot of loss going on right now, and many people have stated that their hearts are broken, so I thought I would bring this to maybe bring some comfort. It brought it to me. The vessel shatters, and silence fills the space. Sharp edges gleam where once the smoothness lay. A hand now trembles, gathering the shards. Each piece a memory, a whispered name. But love is the gold that melts into the cracks, soft light that seals what time and loss have torn. Not to erase the fractures, but to mend, to honor all the beauty into the breaks. And when the light pours through the golden seams, the wounds shine brighter than the flawless clay. And that's Wabi Sabi. And it's written by someone named R. Wright, who I don't know what that is. Thank you.
I'm Leslie Tassie, and I'm really nervous. But this was just like spur of the moment. I thought that initially we were supposed to write a poem and give it to a friend, but I guess that was wrong. So then when I read the blurb thing, I got it right. So anyway, this morning, last minute, I went through my books of poetry, and I found this cute little book that my daughter gave me. It was published in 1916, and it's called Poems That Have Helped Me. And I found two short poems in there that They're just very short, so don't worry. The first one is written by William Ernest Henley. I don't know if you know him, but it's called Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be. Okay, ooh. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. One is by Robert Loveman. It's called It's Raining Violets, and I thought this was a cute little one to end this with. It is not raining rain to me, it's raining daffodils. In every dimpled drop I see wildflowers on the hills. The clouds of gray engulf the day and overwhelm the town. It is not raining rain to me, it's raining roses down. It is not raining rain to me, but fields of clover bloom, where any buccaneering bee may find a bed and room. A health unto the happy, a fig for him who frets. It is not raining rain to me, it's raining violets.
I love the way this is arranged because we can all see each other. Isn't it lovely? I'm Sherry McTee, and to begin with, in the late 80s, early 90s, I had a real restlessness about me, and I didn't know what to do with that. And I was visiting my father's farm, and my brother-in-law came and picked me up, and we went to have a Coke. And we came back to the farm for him to drop me off, and we sat there in the cab of the truck talking about words and literature and poetry. And he just said this beautiful poem with not looking at just by memory. And it touched me so deeply because it was so beautiful and simple. In those days, does anyone know about Sarah Teasdale? She was late, like 1920s, 1930s. She was kind of the equivalent of Mary Oliver in that she used beautiful images and beautiful words to paint the pictures with her words. And this little poem became kind of like my mantra. I have it in my house in picture frames because I don't want to ever forget how simple it was to put those words together. They rhyme because in those days, everything rhymed and we didn't have free verse yet. But the rhyming was so perfect that I hope you'll enjoy this little poem called Barter. Barter by Sarah Teasdale. Life has loveliness to sell, all beautiful and splendid things. Blue waves whitened on a cliff, soaring fire that sways and sings, and children's faces looking up, holding wonder like a cup. Life has loveliness to sell, music like a curve of gold, scent of pine trees in the rain, eyes that love you, arms that hold. And for your spirit's still delight, holy thoughts that star the night. Spend all you have for loveliness, by it and never count the cost. For one white singing hour of peace, count many a year of strife well lost. And for a breath of ecstasy, give all you have been or could be. That's what? Okay, who's next?
Good morning, Linda. I'm Linda Bell, and I grew up in a Unitarian community outside of Cleveland that had a lot of refugees from World War II. Obviously, it was a place that they could get jobs. I saw men with tattoos from the camps. As a child, my parents would point them out to me. And I had a sense, even as a child, that these people had been displaced and they never really settled in that lakeside climate or big city. One of the songs that I sang as a Unitarian child a lot was Finlandia. And I think more than anything else, it taught me empathy for the larger world. And it is from this. The words in English were written in 1934 by Lloyd Stone. The song, of course, is Sibelius and glorifies Finland. But the one we sing in our Unitarian hymnal is the original words by Lloyd Stone. And I think more than anything else, this taught me empathy and love of the world. And as I traveled around and lived in other countries so many years of my life, I found that this touched me every time I had to leave. And every time I thought about how much I loved the experience of knowing other places. So I will read the third stanza of this song, which is not exactly a poem. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on cloverleaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and mine. Happy 4th of July. Who's next?
Hi, Mike. I got Robert Bly's book about 20, 25 years ago, and there's a favorite poem in here that I read a lot of times, but it's kind of heavy, so I thought I'd look for another one. And I found this one yesterday, and it's kind of about the same stuff. It's called People Like Us, and it kind of talks about the idea that it's not just what happens to us and around us, but what we do with it. And it is dedicated to James Wright. People like us. There are more like us all over the world. There are confused people who can't remember the name of their dog when they wake up, and people who love God but can't remember where he was when they went to sleep. It's all right. The world cleanses itself this way. A wrong number occurs to you in the middle of the night. You dial it. It rings just in time to save the house. And the second-story man gets the wrong address where the insomniac lives, and he's lonely, and they talk, and the thief goes back to college, even to graduate school. You can wander into the wrong classroom and hear great poems lovingly spoken by the wrong professor. And you find your soul and greatness has a defender. Even in death, you're safe. Thanks. More sticks?
So in growing up in the 60s, 70s, oh, I'm Diana Royce. Huh? Oh, sorry. Desiderata was very popular. I have cut out a few verses to try and make it a little smaller for the reading, but I do have the originals, a couple of copies if anybody wants them. I have tried to live this philosophy since I was a teen, and I reread it at times to try and remind myself who I should be. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourselves. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive it to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Hartman. 4.5 years ago, one of the most wonderful people I've ever known, my nephew, Nathan's cousin, took his life. And a friend of mine whose father took his life at age 50 gave me a poem that was written by Veronica Patterson. She's a local poet. She was our first Loveland Poet Laureate. And it was really helpful. Suicide Note by Veronica Patterson to a childhood friend who committed suicide. August nights were not enough, though stars fell for us as we slept out to watch. The campfire was not enough, though we toasted marshmallows, burning off layer after layer to the last soft seed we swallowed. And though the lake was cool and flat stones skipped a lucky number of times, we were not enough, our deep, imperfect love. These lines can't resolve or comfort, But they let me say, as you might have said, how I love it all. Husband, daughters, frost, the sun leaves in the shape of linden, the sound the evening paper makes landing on the porch, Queen Anne's lace, the white ptarmigan feather Jim gave me, the small burring noise the cat with 5 names makes as she runs to me, but stays out of reach. If I ever commit suicide, and I intend otherwise, but days instruct me on circumstance and my chancy strength, I absolve all of you, everything. I would do it to solve some dark equation that has always held my name. You would be why I stayed.
I'm really afraid. But I really looked forward to this, and I'm actually going to read part of a Mary Oliver poem, and then I'll tell you what it means to me. What I loved in the beginning, I think, was mostly myself. Never mind that I had to, since somebody had to. That was many years ago. Since then, I have gone out from my confinements, though with difficulty. I mean the ones that ought to rule my heart. I cast them out, I put them on the mush pile. They will be nourishment somehow. Everything is nourishment somehow or another. And I have become the child of the clouds and of hope. I have become the friend of the enemy, whoever that is. I have become older, and, cherishing what I have learned, I have become younger. And what do I risk to tell you this, which is all I know? Love yourself, then forget it. Then love the world. And that is from, to begin with, The Sweetgrass, which is really long, so I just read the ending. And I know some of you know I've shared about my son before, and my mom's heart and the things that are just super close. And I found myself referencing this time with the present administration. But this time, I'm also in therapy, and I'm going to give you some free stuff today. So yay, you get to save $50. But I've found that EMDR resourcing is really helpful for me to release trauma and basically heal. So when everything was sort of coming apart with, it doesn't feel fair to even say one particular issue, right? Or, one particular sort of person or one particular this or that. It's like just this, and it's all by design, I get it, but it's a lot all at once. And I ended up doing some resourcing, and it's basically you take kind of an affirmation and you tap that into your body. So you're placing it within you, and you have that to resource. And in talking about, my fears, and we've all got to move past that, right? Or we're just paralyzed, and then we can't. And so in talking about that, the thing that I tapped into my body was love is brave. So that poem, when it says, to love yourself, so for me, that's working through the only word I can think of is not a word to share on Sunday morning, but working through all my stuff, like, fine, do that. Yes, heal. It's so good to work on those things, but then forget it, and then love the world. And then, love is not easy. It's not simple. It's not safe. It's hard. So your $50 copay golden nugget for today is love is brave. So you can tap that in and finish your month of July with that and onwards. All right, who would like the talking stick?
So this is actually a poem that I wrote. And it's kind of just, I was having a really rough time in my life, and I was sitting in my backyard and I was just looking at all the different things that were growing and all the, just everything, and thinking about my kind of background in science and biology and just the beauty that, erupts from life. So it says, I do so love seeing something so revolutionarily present, so perfectly finite, erupt from that which is so infinitesimally small. It is like watching the Big Bang unfold before your eyes, seeing the memory of the cosmos blossoming into the present moment, much like the creation of a human, 2 cells into trillions, to plant a seed that then grows into a radiant flower, or a strand of mycelium elegantly swelling into a mushroom.
Good morning, I'm Randy Schneff. Can you all hear me? Okay, so yeah, I thought with the poems, I don't really read poetry, so I don't have any poems, but I realized looking back, I've got all this music, and music, the lyrics, there's really a lot of poetry there. And especially as a teenager, it can be very impressionable. It could be something as simple as the lyrical phrase uttered by Jimi Hendrix, "Is it tomorrow or just the end of time?" that sticks with you forever. But I've read a poem, so I listen to a lot of Moody Blues. I don't know if you all heard that. So one of the poems that are the songs that they sang that sort of stuck with me for a long time was this, there's many of them, but one that I would repeat a lot was this poem, 1969, from their album, In the Beginning. I think I am, therefore I am, I think. Of course you are my bright little star. I've miles and miles of files, pretty files of your forefathers' fruit, and now to suit our great computer, your magnetic ink. I'm more than that, I know I am, at least I think I must be. There you go, man, keep as cool as you can. Face piles and piles of trials with smiles, for it riles them to believe that you perceive the web they weave, and keep on thinking free. That's it.
Good morning. My name is Erin. Since I read this poem, it's kind of been like I've thought of it as like a worry stone, or like a lucky penny that I keep in my pocket for when I just need something to hold on to. So I thought maybe you'd like to have it in your pocket too. It's called Revolutionary Letter number 96, Poem at Dawn by Deanne DePrima. And it goes, Empire is its own undoing.
I liked that. I don't know if any of you know this, but I have a degree in poetry and I teach poetry. So I was going to read a Warsaw Shiri poem, but here's a poem I wrote. A series of letters to friends, strangers, asking if those aren't the same people. Dear friend, I make space. I make room. I make a room. I build a house of mourning inside America's house. The house is not enough. The house is everything. The house is no house, displaces no one, built of reimagined histories, of accepting history, responsibility, and reimagined futures. The house is built of clean rivers, healthy fields, strong forests, and animals all welcomed home. All the animals of the field, all the animals of pain. And we are wailing together. We are grieving together. We are asking each other's questions. We are eating each other's suffering. We are mourning each other's dead. We are dismantling all the bombs. We are making amends. We are making amends. We are taking apart the weapons of war. We are taking apart the makings of the weapons of war.
Well, I'm Jay, and I have a couple things here. When we thought about poetry, I remember writing poetry and really looking at it and very deeply into it, sort of like what you're talking about. And then I got into science, and I became a science guy. And science has a way of disciplining you, and it cuts off certain things that are creative. And so I've had to overcome that later in life. I mean, you just don't write poetry anymore, you don't paint anymore, there's a lot of things you don't do. But I'm kind of changing that. And I thought about what was really interesting was that people got up here and talked about songs that they had, lyrics. Jimi Hendrix, God, I even had one down. I was going to do Jimi Hendrix Along the Watchtower. I thought that would be a good thing to talk about. I love that song. But what really struck me was there were two things that I recall instantly when they said poetry about me and how it affected me. And number one was a fellow named Tom Paxton. He wrote this song, Don't You Let Nobody Turn You Around. And the way it started was, it's a long, long journey to your own home, where your own truth is waiting to be found. But don't ever let them, don't you ever let them, don't you let nobody turn you around. That resonated with me. And then the other one is Charlie Pride. Charlie Pride. He wrote this song called I'm Just Me. And I want to say this. Down at the railroad station, there's people getting on. Some are going north and some are going south. I'm just going to be gone. Some people are born to be takers, others just want to give. Some people just want to love, but I just love to live. For I was just born to be exactly what you see, nothing more or less. I'm not the worst or the best. I just try to be exactly what you see. Today and every day, I'm just me. When people say their life is rough, I wonder compared to what? Some are wanting more and more is getting less. I just want what I got. Some want to live on a hill, others down by the sea. Some want to live inside my walls. I just want to live free. I was just born to be exactly what you see, nothing more or less, not the worst or the best. I just want to be just what you see, and every day I'm just me. That's it. Anyway, there you go.
Well, we're happy that everyone had an opportunity to get up here and share, and that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that. We have a closing song, and it is My Life Flows On in Endless Song. And while we are singing this song, the offering baskets will be passed around. We're taking the offering now, and again, this is for the landing, which helps youths between the ages of 15 and 20 here in Loveland. So the song is on page 108 of your gray hymnals.
I'd like to echo AnnMarie's words. We've been so richly fed today. I'd love this to be a tradition, an annual tradition, or maybe even more often, but thank you so much for your participation and for the poems you brought into us. It makes me want to go home and start finding something that would speak to me now. Our closing is by John O'Donohue, the poet. May we have the courage today to live the life that we would love, to postpone our dreams no longer, but to do at last what we came here for, and waste our hearts on fear no more. Thank you, everybody.